I had been doing way too much doomerism AI and singularity is near, freaking people out. Today, we're just going to talk about fun ways that AI is being incorporated into gadgets. Lighthearted, but really interesting stuff. First on our list is this AI-powered bird feeder. All right, so let's think about this for a second. You build a birdhouse and you rig it with artificial intelligence. Like, what can you do? You can use computer vision to identify the bird, which is really cool. You could use AI to maybe check to see if something like that isn't a bird is there, maybe, you know, like a squirrel or something, and then you could maybe lock the food up, or you could see if there's enough food so that it never runs out, and maybe it automatically sends you a text message or something. I mean, basically it's like kind of a glamorous Ring doorbell cam with some mechanisms attached to it, but it's an interesting use case, especially if it's solar powered, which one of them was. The other one you have to power up with batteries. AI-powered bird feeders aren't something that I ever thought about before, but they are actually in existence, and you can purchase one right now if that sounds like a really interesting use case of AI to you. But here's a wild idea for the future is we have covered on this channel a few times that people have been trying to translate between animals and humans using AI. Because if you think about what something like ChatGPT is doing as a large language model, it's translating between different languages or kind of more obscure things like an MRI to a verbal output, like this part of it means cancer, this part doesn't, and all sorts of strange, like the patterns that fire in our brain with electricity to what we're thinking about through images. There's a lot of translation that can be done. So what if a tool like that could translate from a bird, not like translating the chirps like they're English, but there could be a lot of signals that the animals are giving between their actual chirping and the way that their body language is and their faces, and then that could tell you about the moods of the birds that feed at your bird feeder, or it could tell you essentially communications that they have, like one is like ready for more kids, or one just had kids, or one is like preparing to fly for the winter or something like that. It'd be pretty fascinating if you were translating between bird and human. Or what if you went the other way and told the birds, like, to get in you have to do something like sing a song or a beautiful song or something, and then they would open it, so you'd have all these singing birds all the time before they got access to their food because you could like train them through the AI. I don't know, food for thought. So next on my list is this AI-powered TV that follows you. Yeah, so if you've ever wished for a TV that's as clingy as a toddler, AI has now got you covered. You can now be watching TV projected up on your wall in front of you in the living room, and you can get up to get a snack, and the TV itself will turn off and turn towards you and start rolling and following you to the kitchen. So maybe it just keeps the TV projected in front of you at all times, or while you're opening the fridge, it finds an empty wall and throws it on there. And maybe it's, it is the speaker actually, so you're listening to it the whole time. And now we have this crazy world where TVs never leave your side, even if you're not holding them physically. Which is crazy, because when I see the Apple Vision, I was noticing the most interesting thing about it is that, screens can follow as you walk around, or it can be like projected on different walls in your house, and you can have like your living room wall and your kitchen wall and stuff. But now I'm thinking, gosh, like maybe not in the Vision Pro, but the second you take the Vision Pro off, the TVs can then go into this little device, and then it can throw it up on the wall too, so you could actually show it to somebody else who doesn't have the headset on. Or flip it around and put a camera in something like this, and it could notice when you're bored and just change the channel for you. Or at least at some point it would be like, oh, we're already logged in your Netflix account, we already know the kind of movies you like. They could recommend something to you, but just by putting it up there, so you're just watching it, and the second you're bored, it knows and it changes for you. So no more physically swiping, you can just stare, and your boredom portrayed through your attitude is the swipe. Or what if they make it so that it starts having separation anxiety? Maybe it's just built in, or it's mimicking humans, but imagine leaving the room and this little guy that was like playing TV for you gives you kind of like a sad look, like, I thought we were gonna watch more TV, that's what I do, and then starts playing sad music until you come back into the room or something. Like, that's gonna be crazy. TVs that follow you around, that's a whole can of worms. All right, next on our list is this DIY project that I found on YouTube. This is Abe's Projects, and he took computer vision, put it in a little standalone device, which is a Pokemon-styled Pokedex. Now, I'm not a huge Pokemon fan, so I might be saying it wrong or whatever. You probably tell. Andre always calls me out on this. You know, Andre Jick from Don't Sweat It. We do a podcast together, and one time I said Pokemon. He's like, you don't really know Pokemon if you say it that way. So now I'm really self-conscious about it. But the point is, in the show, a Pokedex is a little device that the characters use to identify the Pokemon, and he used computer vision and ChatGPT to build that little device. And it just seems like a really cool use of artificial intelligence in a gadget. So check it out. There's this viewfinder on the back, which has enough space inside for the screen, the camera, and the speaker, so it can actually say out loud once it identifies a Pokeball, which Pokeball it is, or which Pokemon it is, or whatever you say. And he was even able to use AI to clone the voice of the way that the Pokedex sounds on TV so that it had the same sound. So really cool use of multiple different AI systems all put together for a unique use case.
Bolt-shaped tail and ability to store electricity in its cheeks. Raichu is the evolved form of Pikachu.
Okay, so this one is a little interesting. Now, you've probably seen some of these smart doors, and the way they normally work is you put a collar on a dog or a cat, and it's just an NFC ID so that when it comes to the door, it knows to only open for your pet and not for the neighbor's pet or anyone else. This is a little bit different because it uses camera vision to identify if the cat has a mouse or some kind of rodent or something you don't want in the house in its mouth when it comes to the door. So not only can it identify if it's your cat in the first place, which is step one, very powerful, but number two, it's kind of oh, you are kind of dirty, you can't come in. Imagine a dog played in the mud, tries to run through the dog door doesn't open, right? We can see the mud, not letting you in the house, you're gonna mess up the house, maybe notifies the owner, go wash them off before you bring them in. How cool would that be? So now we're getting to this nuanced level of artificial intelligence letting in animals and understanding so much more about the dynamics of the animal, the situation, the environment. It could definitely be oh, even though you're muddy, it's really cold out and we probably do need to let you in. It's starting to get dangerous, or all sorts of different intelligent variables. So this is the Motion Pillow. It was at CES this year. It is way too much money, I would think. $700 for a pillow seems like a lot. I mean, sleep is important, so maybe you could justify $700 if you can make sure that sleep actually happens better, but I don't know. I'm very skeptical of this item. However, smart pillows are probably in our future. But if you think about the way a pillow can improve your sleep, one would be if you snore, maybe it moves your head or neck in such a way that the airway opens up, so it does have some snoring AI in it, so it can identify when you're snoring and then make some changes to your head. How well that works, I don't know, but that in theory should work. So it activates little airbags. I'm guessing if you could open up this pillowcase, you'd see kind of a grid, and each one is sort of powered by a little bit of air, and then it can dynamically adjust your neck trying to find what is the best position. But overall, that's a crazy thing to think about, because I guess maybe we're gonna have some kind of jelly-like fluid or something in the future, and AI will take that to the nth degree, and it will have tiny little micro pockets that can be expanded or pulled back, and then maybe you just put your head on it on an airplane and it fits in perfect to your shoulder and neck, and then you turn to the left and it comes over here and is on that side, or you're on a bed and it just knows what to do. So yeah, maybe the AI-powered future of pillows looks super interesting, some kind of Play-Doh jelly looking thing that just always takes care of our head position. So number 6 on the list is this AI powered grill. When I saw this, I kind of thought to myself, this reminds me of an idea I had 3 years ago, which was an AI powered microwave, because I knew eventually we'd have a camera that could look down at the food. And one problem I always have when I'm microwaving is I can't really tell if part of it is too hot or too cold, or if one of the other settings is better for the food. And I knew that enough training data on the food would help it understand the right way to cook something, especially if you use some heat sensors to know how the hot parts of the food look, and then you could help identify the food on some big database in a classification algorithm. When I saw this, I was oh, maybe that's what they're doing, but they're thinking about it a little bit differently with this grill. So this has dual vertical infrared burners to pulse and move horizontally, reaching as high as 1,652 Fahrenheit while providing a 360-degree cooking experience. So you can put a steak in this thing and like get it out supposedly very quickly, and AI is going to cook it perfectly. I mean, it looks cool. They have the touch screen here on the right, and it says it can sear a steak perfectly in 90 seconds. That's awesome. Like, if you can give me the microwave experience with like a real grill, I'm in. This is a cool use of AI. So if you have $3,500 sitting around, I guess give this thing a try and find out if it works for me, and then let me know in the comments below. All right, number 7 would be this device called the Kettle X1. This, something we've seen since the beginning of Star Trek, some kind of a device that allows two people who speak different languages to communicate pretty much seamlessly in the same way that we normally would by just talking and listening. To do that, you both put in these sort of AirPod looking headsets and the magic happens in the AI in between your heads. So if you've ever wanted to eavesdrop on anyone speaking any of the top 20 languages in the world, this thing has got you covered. My worry would be just don't laugh out loud if they say something weird that you're eavesdropping on, because it's gonna be a dead giveaway. They see that thing in the ear and you laugh at the wrong time when, you know, they know something secret was just said, boom, you're toast. So I've seen some demos. People say this works pretty well. I definitely think it's the kind of technology that should be very well integrated into just our smartphones soon. But it'll be fun. Imagine just feeling free to like travel anywhere in the world and just throw that device in, plug in the language of the country you're going to, and just know that you can get around. That's pretty powerful stuff. I saved one of the best AI inventions for number 8. Yep, if you have not experienced AI-powered walking, you might not have experienced the future of walking. So this is WIM. It is AI-powered walking with this belt-like device and then these kind of two stretchy things that go down to this thing that's right above your kneecap. Okay, so you got this robot between your belly button and your knees. And the product is meant to assist in walking and exercising in a safe and efficient manner by providing support. This blogger said that when he tried on the tech, he was surprised to see how natural it felt and how unobstructed his walking was. So this AI device has a personalized AI-powered coach that can help you enhance your exercise experience by adjusting the intensity and timing and providing customized programs for how you want your hips to basically move you as you walk. I'm starting to wonder, like, I don't have the best posture, especially like down in that sort of lower back area. It would be interesting if it kind of constantly put me in the right position until I got it naturally. I also actually wonder if I'm not walking optimal. It seems so easy, like we've been walking our whole lives, we must be doing it perfect, but once you get a kind of bad habit, or I don't know, like I was thinking about the way my legs kind of duck out a little bit more than I think they should. And sometimes I lock my knees. I don't know. What if AI will help us walk perfectly and just keep our legs working longer in life? And I mean, I don't know if we all want to put this device on all the time, but anyways, the future could be walking with AI. Number 9 on this list, every person who has custom nails dream an AI-powered manicure device. So this company, Nimble Beauty, has put out an AI-powered at-home nail salon. And at first I was like, I don't know if I get it. And then I just started churning on it, and I think it actually could be pretty powerful. The one thing about nails that are a bit different than a lot of the rest of our body is you can paint on them. You know, it's not a tattoo, it's painting. And when I think about diffusion models, Midjourney, DALL-E, what if you could say, like, decorate my nails in a certain way? You put your hand in this machine and it draws it with like true AI precision, and you can just change it as you want, and you could have it customize it for you. But the idea of generating images, the kind of art that we're seeing right now coming out of these models, and 3D printing, or at least 2D printing onto nails in a way that AI can maneuver and understand where the nail is exactly, and go in with some kind of like precision printing / coloring, like a printer, like a paper printer, but on your nails in full color. Yeah, maybe it could do that. This device doesn't do all that, so that was kind of my idea, but it does do your nails, which I'm not totally sure what that is. I think that's just like the manicure part where you file it down and then you paint it. I've never had my nails done, but then I know you have to dry them between coats, probably putting on the different layers of paint without smudging them, and it does that, and it turns on the fan, it understands when they're dry, can use camera vision. Seems kind of like a cool first step towards that vision I had. But you know, the other part of why a lot of people go to get their nails done is kind of like the gossiping and the socializing and the connecting. So Maybe you could also integrate something like a social network into a machine like this, so you could meet up with other women, even if it's virtually, that are getting their nails done at the same time, and you guys or girls could talk to one another, and maybe you like do it at the same time, and it touches your calendar and reminds you like everyone's getting their nails done at noon on Tuesday. And then even though everybody's at home, they put this machine in and it's got some sort of screen where you can see everybody and you talk about the different nails you're doing. Oh, what if the AI powered nail salon also knows like what's in season? So it says to you, hey, here's the nails that you want this week or month because, you know, Taylor Swift just did them and they're trending right now. All right, and finally, number 10 on this list, AI-powered breathing. That is so old school the way I just breathed. Joking aside, I think that a lot of us have a ton of room to breathe better. If you have read a book called The Oxygen Advantage, I read it a couple years ago, I was like, oh, it affects your jaw, it affects your stomach, it affects your heart rate, which then has knock-on effects to your stress levels, sometimes your immune system. I think that a tool like this is maybe a little silly, but worth thinking about. This is the Moonbird, and at least according to their sales, material, this is your guide to doing slow-paced breathing exercises in the palm of your hand. It simply allows you to breathe along at its calming pace, and it will track if you're breathing from the diaphragm, the lower part, and how long you're taking for each of those breaths, and it will optimize your stress levels. Because sometimes you just need a machine to tell you to calm down in the most scientifically possible way ever. That device will expand in your hand when it's time to breathe in, and as you're supposed to exhale, it tightens up. And breathing really does affect your nervous system, so I think it could be powerful. Imagine knowing that your last inhale was only a 6 out of 10, and you should try harder. Thanks to my number one patron by far, Rob, for that $100 per month. Thank you guys for watching this video to the end. If you like AI, want to subscribe, that would mean the world to me. My next goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers.